Hey y'all, so I'm back at it again, feeding God's people. So today I started off at Walmart. I already had some bread left over from last week, and honestly, I had too much bread to just let it go to waste. And I was like, okay, God, I need to be smart about this. So I went and got some tuna so I can make more sandwiches and pass them out. With another winter storm possibly coming, maybe even some snow, I just wanted to make sure I get rid of this bread and feed some more people because I don't want food going to waste when there are people out there who are hungry. But I'm really not going to lie. Today was kind of one of those days. I really wasn't just feeling it. I really wasn't in the mood. And I just wanted to stay in my own little bubble, mind my business, and honestly just rest. And sometimes I think people assume that because you're out here helping others that you always feel excited and motivated. But that's not really life. Some days you got to push yourself a little. So I had to remind myself it's not about my mood, it's about my heart. And I wanted to be in a mind space of gratitude instead of complaining. Because the Bible said God's love a cheerful giver. And that's in 2 Corinthians 9:7. And that verse really hit me today. Not giving because you feel forced, not giving because you feel guilty, but giving because your heart wants to. So on my way, I started listening to one of my favorite channels, just something uplifting, something positive, something to get my spirit right. I had to prep myself mentally, like, okay, girl, you about to go serve, so let's get our attitude together. And honestly, it worked. It shifted my mood. And because when you actually see people's face light up over something as simple as a sandwich, it reminds you why you started. It reminds you that what feels small to you is big to somebody else. Some people out here don't know where their next meal is coming from. Some people are cold. Some people just want to feel seen. And sometimes food is more than food. It's love. It's care. It's, hey, I thought about you today. So even though I wasn't in the mood, even though I felt tired, even though I just wanted to stay home, I still showed up. And I'm so glad that I did. Because God didn't give me more than I needed just for me. He gave it to me so I can share it. So yeah, your girl was in Walmart like, okay, Lord, we're about to make some tuna sandwiches today. And I just wanted to hop on here and say, if you're having one of those days where you're not feeling your best, you're not alone. But don't let that stop you from being kind. Don't let that stop you from doing what God put on your heart. You don't got to be perfect. You don't have to be super happy all the time. You just got to be willing. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today. Feeding God's people, trying to be grateful, trying to be a cheerful giver, and trying to move with love, even when I'm not in the best mood. I hope this blesses someone. I hope it encourages somebody. And I hope it reminds you what you do matters. All right, y'all. Let's make these sandwiches. And honestly, this whole moment really made me think about how easy it is to overlook the little things. Like a sandwich might not feel like much to some people, but to somebody who hasn't eaten all day, that sandwich is everything. Sometimes we be praying for big blessings, but God is using us to be the big blessing for somebody else. And I really had to check myself today and say, okay, God, thank you that I even had extra bread. Thank you that I can go into the store and buy tuna. Thank you that I have the ability to give, because not everybody have that. And I never want to take that for granted. So if you're watching this and you feel like what you're doing is small, if you feel like your kindness doesn't matter, I just want you to know it does. It really does. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have everything figured out. Sometimes it's just about using what you already have. For me, it was bread and tuna. For you, it might be something else. But somebody out there is going to be blessed by it. Somebody out there is going to feel seen because of it. And that's really what it's all about. Not being perfect, not being super motivated every day, but obedience when God puts something on your heart. So yeah, today I chose to show up. Even when I wasn't in the mood, even when I felt tired, even when I just wanted to stay home. And I'm so grateful I did, because God just blessed me to be able to bless his people. And I just want to say, don't wait until you feel perfect to do something good. Don't wait until you feel ready. Sometimes the blessing is just showing up. So even on the day when my energy is low, my heart is still willing, and that's what matters the most. Hi y'all. So I was getting prepared for bed, so excuse my attire. And just wanted to tell you like how today went. So today was a little rough. I was not really having a good day today. I had to work, but I started to feel like I didn't want to go out and give out any food. although I bought all this stuff. And I just started feeling like maybe I shouldn't even go. So I was praying. I was like, okay, God, because the reason why I went today's Thursday, because they were talking about a storm coming possibly Friday and Saturday and starting Friday night. So I was like, okay, let me go Thursday because I still had a lot of bread left over and I bought some more tuna. So I was like, Lord, if it's in your will, please give me a sign. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. So, watching the video earlier, just listening to some worship music to kind of get me in the spirit, because I do not like people who cook and are in a bad mood, because I feel like when you cook with love, people can just taste that in the food. So I was just prepping myself up, just for today. I had my brother to drive, so that kind of helped me be able to rest. So we went to go get my other brother and went down. Of course, y'all know I don't record the people because I don't like that, and people shouldn't be recorded, in that type of environment. And, people may not want to be judged, and I don't want to judge nobody. So we went out there, we passing out the food, and it took a minute. Normally it'd be a lot of people, but I thank God because I was praying God, please protect the people that are living out on the streets. And when we went down to one of the spots where we typically go, where it's a lot of people, we saw a bus out there. So it did look like someone came out. It could have been a local church and picked up a lot of the people. It was a few people who decided to just stay on the streets, but majority of the people are coming to pick them up. So very grateful for that. And we did pass out food. We passed out all the food. I think I did about a little over 60 bags, could have been 70 bags of food. I gave out tuna again, and some of the bags I had chips and the pineapples. So yeah, so I was like, you know what? I don't want to take none of this food home. Let's keep driving around. So we're driving around. We find some people, and we literally I'm getting exhausted because I'm like, where's all the people? So I'm like, y'all, at this point we're gonna drive around back to the same people and give double another bag of food. But I really wanted to make sure anybody I come across, I wanted to give the food to. So we're riding around. I see this one person walking with a luggage. So I'm just assuming maybe this is somebody, living on the streets. So I'm telling my brother, make that left turn. So, of course, he made the wrong turn and had to turn around. So he was at the light. So I was like, okay, it's a person right there. And I noticed he was standing on the highway. So the highway, high up in the air, the sidewalk is pretty much the highway, ramp. Well, it wasn't the highway, I won't say. But you can look over and you can see the cars at the bottom, passing. And I just see the guy sitting there, and it just kind of looked weird. And I was I rolled down the window and I was like, hey, did you want some water, food? And he was like, no. And he had his head down and he was crying. And I was like, are you okay? But it was just kind of making me I was on alert because he was sitting on the edge of the ramp. He could just jump over in the traffic, jump down, on the highway. He was like, no. And I said, you're not trying to commit suicide, are you? He was like, I might. And I was like, well, can I pray for you? And he was like, sure. And all I just kept hearing him saying a name. And he was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, well, let me just pray for you. And he was just sitting down. I was just on alert because I wasn't sure if he was just going to tilt down and just fall off the ramp onto the highway. And I prayed for him, and he was like, thank you. And I was just talking to him, just encouraging him, this not it. I don't know, whatever it is, but, keep your head up. And eventually, me and my brother was like able to talk to him and like grab his hand and pull him off the ramp. And he like just sat on the floor, and he was just explaining like he's not homeless, and like how he just had a situation where he was injured at work, and the person who he's living with, his girlfriend, which is the mother of his child, was just kind of mistreating him. And hold on, sorry, I had got a call. So we was able to get him off the edge and not fall. And he was on the floor just talking and just sharing like how he been trying to get some type of form, like the okay for him to at least start applying and going back to work. Like when he got injured at work, they fired him, and I guess the mother of his child, like who he's living with, like by him not being able to work, like of course he got to rely on her, and she's not taking him to the doctor so that he can get the forms and the forms that he needs to, like, you know, if he have to take it to court. So he was just crying. He was like, he don't like depending on nobody, and that's, you know, typically a man. And he was like, nobody to help, you know, family members, like, not helpful, like, pretty much like he comes from a dysfunctional family. And, you know, he had people calling. So I was like, hey, is it okay for me to pick up the phone? His mom called, and she was okay. I let her know, like, we're speaking to him. We was able to, like, calm him down. But he was, like, very upset. And we offered, I was like, is there, like, a hotel room, you know, close? How much? And he was like, he don't know. And his mom did say she's going to get him a bus ticket, like, to come back home. And he was like, yeah, he would like that. So she was like, I'm going to call you back. And I was charging his phone because he's on 12%. He's like, I don't even care if my phone died. And I was like, no, I want you to have, like, your phone charged, like, while you're walking out on the streets. And we eventually was able to calm him down. He was just like, I appreciate you guys. Like, gave us a hug, told us thank you. And I was like, he was like, yo, I just want time to myself. And I was just like on edge, like, I hope he don't try to jump off and jump on the highway. And he was like, I promise you, y'all, I'm good. I was like, well, I'll feel a lot better if you move from this place here. And he was like, if it makes you happy, I'll walk down. I just want to clear my head. So my brother took his phone number and was like, he's going to call him and check up on him. And he also, like, let him know, like, hey, I got my little business going on, and I wouldn't mind, like, offering you, like, a job so that you can, like, make some money in the meantime until you get everything situated, like, with your job. And he was like, I appreciate that. And that was another instance where it's a lady, we had went to the gas station. No, we was on the road, and one of the spots that we typically go to, like the second spot, we saw this guy, and he was like, I remember you guys. I was like, yeah, we always see you when we come here, you and your buddy. And he was like, yeah, he's my buddy, he's in the hospital, he's not feeling good. So I was like, I'm gonna be praying for him. And I gave him some food and a water. And he was like, yeah, I'm about to go see him now. And then the lady walked past, and she was like, oh, y'all giving out food? And we gave her some. She was like, thank you. And then she just began to, you know, talk and just sharing, like, how she been on the streets for years. And she was just sharing, like, it's just sad, like, how at 14, she been on the streets since she's 14. She looked like she could be in her late 50s. And, like, how she was getting raped by her stepdad, and the mom was, like, scared to speak up because the dad was beating on the mom. And eventually, I think the guy left because he was afraid that she was going to tell on him. And she ended up getting pregnant. And she said she lost her child. She said it was just a lot going on, and she was just on the streets. But she did mention that she just got approved for her to get an apartment. And she was excited about that. And she was like, she was asking, like, for some money to get some hot chocolate. And I was like, I don't have cash, which I didn't. But we was like, we can go to the gas station and get you, like, some hot chocolate or coffee. And she was like, that's fine. My tent is, like, around the corner. So, like, we had to find one gas station. It was one of the gas stations was blocked off. But eventually we went to another one. And it was some people up there. We gave some food. It was this Mexican guy. He was very grateful, thanked us, and was like, you guys have a good heart. You know, I really appreciate it. And we got our coffee and we went to go find her. And she was like, y'all just keep me in prayer. And I was just excited because that was like, you know, sometimes when God give us an unction to do something, we have to be obedient. And a lot of times we hear like our obedience is tied to someone else's blessing. So who's to say like me just feeling discouraged, the devil is trying to get me to say I'm not going to go. And in these two instances, especially with the guy about to jump off and, you know, commit suicide, just imagine if we did not come out there and continue to ride around. That man would have probably jumped off the cliff, like, and it would have been on the news because it's last year somebody did jump off and died, and I just couldn't imagine like seeing something like that. So I prayed for him. He was like, before he left, he was like, I really appreciate that prayer. I really needed it. And he thanked us, and you know, my brother said he was going to call and just check up on him. And yeah, but yes, you know, when God tells you to do something, just be obedient, because you never know who needs it. And a lot of times too, people's life could be depending on your obedience to you, like doing what God tells you to do. So I just post these videos, not just to, you know, I do believe in what the Bible says, what you do in secret, God will reward you openly. But I think with all of these, you know, things we see on social media, I at least want to post videos of me feeding God's people to encourage other people around the world to do the same. Go back and pour into your community. And when I tell you, the people are just, you know, funny, but a lot of times people, they just need help. It's a lot, you see. You never know some people condition and the things that they been through and why they're on the streets, you know. But we got to pray for the people and be of help. And all I can think about the Bible when it talks about on Judgment Day, and I don't know what word for word, but when it's like I said, when I was hungry, you didn't feed. I got to find it. It says, when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I needed clothes or something. Let me make sure, because I don't want to quote it wrong. Hold on, I got my iPad. Oh no, I thought it was in Revelations. Okay. This is the NIV. It's in Matthew 25, verses 35 to 40. And it says, for I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, you came to visit me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger, invited you in, or needed clothes and clothed you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? The king will reply, truly I will tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. So I'm always reminded, like when I'm going out there and feeding the people, of this very verse, you know. Anyways, I hope that encouraged someone on today, and stay tuned as I just share some more videos. Bye for now.